Yes, welcome back students. This is module 3 lesson 2 part 2. In the first part we discuss about public sector enterprises. Now in this part we problems of public enterprises. In this part we are going to discuss disinvestment policy, its objective, progress and evaluation. Let us start with this disinvestment. What is the meaning of disinvestment? Disinvestment involves the sale of equity and bond capital invested by the government in PSU. PSU is public sector undertakings. Disinvested shares are listed, quoted and traded on the stock exchanges. Indian and foreign financial institutions, banks, mutual funds, companies as well as individuals can be invested in shares and bonds. Okay, now what are the objectives of disinvestment? There are 8 objectives. Number 1, raising resources. Due to current revenue expenditure on various items, the government is left with any surplus for capital expenditure on social and physical infrastructure. There is a huge amount of debt incurred by the government which need to be serviced and reduced before money is available to invest in infrastructure. Second, restructuring of public enterprises. Chronically sick enterprises which can be revived will be given additional capital because of disinvestment. Next, rehabilitation of displaced personnel. A large part of money raised from disinvestment will be used for retraining and rehabilitation of workers. Next, raising productive efficiency. Disinvestment is expected to result in greater inflow of private capital and use the private management practices in PSUs to increase the operational efficiency and the market value. Next, benefits to consumers. Disinvestment would benefit consumers through better quality and wider variety of goods and services. Next, eliminate political interference. Privatization of public enterprises will free them from political interference. Next, retiring public debt. A part of proceeds from privatization may be used for retiring public debt. Next, modernization and technology upgradation. Through disinvestment, the government desires to modernize the public sector and upgrade technology. These are the objectives of disinvestment. Now, next point, disinvestment policy. What are the policies adopted in India that we are going to discuss? Number 1, New Investment Policy 1991. The announcement of New Investment Policy 1991 can be considered as the starting point of the policy initiatives taken by the government in the direction of disinvestment. Second, Navaratnas and Mini Ratnas. In 97-98, the greater autonomy was granted to PSEs, that is public sector enterprises, referred to as Navaratnas. They are IOC, IPCL, ONGC, BPCL, HPCL, NTPC, SAIL, VSNL and BHEL. They are considered as Navaratnas, 9 companies. Greater functional and operational autonomy has been granted to 97 and other PSU referred as Mini Ratnas. Third, the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, DIPAM. The Department of Disinvestment was set up in 1999. On 14th April 2016, it has been renamed as the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Next, methods of disinvestment. The following methods of disinvestment are followed by the government. Number 1, initial public offering (IPO), offer of shares for the first time to the public by an unlisted CPSE. Second, further public offering (FPO), offers of shares by listed CPSEs. Third, offer for sale (OFS). This is done promoters through stock exchange mechanism. Next, strategic sale. This involves the sale of large portion of government shareholdings of a CPSE up to 50%. Next, institutional placement program (IPP). Only financial institutions can participate in IPP. Next, CPSE exchange traded fund ETF. The government uses platform of stock exchange for disinvestment. These are the 4 methods of disinvestment. Now the next point is of disinvestment policy. So that is the 5th point. Enters of employees. The government has included certain provisions to ensure interest of employees. That is, employees cannot be retrenched at least for a period of 1 year after privatization. Even after the retrenchment will be possible only under VRS, that is voluntary retirement scheme, or voluntary separation scheme. Next, current disinvestment policy. The following are the features of current disinvestment policy. 1. PSUs are the wealth of the nation. The government will promote public ownership of CPSEs. Second, the government will retain majority of shareholding of at least 51% and retain management control of the CPSEs. Last point, progress and evaluation of disinvestment. Currently, the government is pursuing both majority and minority sale of its shareholding. Following are the drawbacks of disinvestment policy. Number 1, hasty and unplanned. In the initial years, the disinvestment program has been carried in a hasty and unplanned manner. So, many public sector equities have been sold at much lower value. Second, strategic partner. The initial phase was dominated by attempts to sell minority shares directly to shareholders. But now the emphasis is on selling public sector units to strategic partners from private sector. Next, government control. In many cases, after disinvestment, the government has retained a majority stake and continued to have managing control. Next, reduction in public sector employment. CPSEs employed around 22 lakh employees in 1991-92, but in 2016-17, CPSEs employed 11.31 lakhs people only. 11.31 lakh people only. So this disinvestment is reducing the employment opportunity. Next, continued deficit. India adopted disinvestment policy since 1991. The fiscal and revenue deficit have been rising. Administrative cost of disinvestment process have also been very high. Next, people's consent. An important fact to be remembered in this context of disinvestment is that the equity in PSUs belong to the people. So, in the absence of national consensus, only government decision to disinvest is not enough to carry out sale of people's asset. And the last point, Disinvestment to public private partnership, PPP, triple P. It refers to the government service or private business venture which is funded and operated through partnership of government and one or more private sector companies. These are the things that you have to discuss, that what is the evaluation. But of course disinvestment is not the solution to all the problems faced by the developing economy. Okay, now students, in this topic that part 2, disinvestment policy, then progress and evaluation, these points can be asked, so you have to give all the exact answer of this. Here there are 7 points for the progress and evaluation. Then disinvestment policies, there are 6 points, and objectives of disinvestment, these 3 things are there. So go through it, you will understand everything. Thank you very much.